Trade bell time, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then whenever needed along the way, it goes up on the podcast. I know you take it in at your leisure as well as firing them through now. So as soon as we mention the trade bell, the texts just light up. Sam, Edmund, welcome.
Good morning, dear Gerard. Great to be here for the bell.
I've got two emails regarding the Swans. One was from Jaden.
Yeah, one was from Michael and the other one was from Jaden, just asking how it got to this. So the situation, Sydney are trying to re-sign, we know, Luke Parker, Dylan Stevens, Jordan Dawson, Sam Reid, Matthew Ling, Callum Sinclair, Hayden McLean, Ben Ronk and others. Sam Wicks has a 2-year offer on the table, hasn't signed. Robbie Fox has a 1-year offer on the table, hasn't signed. Jordan Dawson told us here on SEN that Swans supporters had nothing to worry about. This is going back a couple of months. The South Australian wanted to stay. He hasn't seen a contract that he likes at this point. The SA clubs are on standby. Dylan Stevens, number 5 draft pick only 2 years ago. Rival clubs have been asked if they're interested in him because the 2-year offer for him doesn't have him doing cartwheels. He's a South Australian as well. Other clubs say that the Swans would in fact be more open to Dylan Stevens leaving than perhaps most of the others. The Swans do want to keep him, but at this stage they won't be cracking the piggy bank, Gerard, to make it happen. George Hewitt has been well paid, hence why he's a restricted free agent. We revealed he was on the trade table for a time last year. He is very likely to move this year, and he's very likely to be at Carlton. Sydney have shown zero interest in re-signing him at this stage, and that's unlikely to change. Now, the best and fairest winner, Luke Parker, heavily discussed. Decent difference on what he's camper chasing for by around $700,000 a year, as opposed to what the Swans have offered. There was a whisper that they had come to an agreement in the last few days, Gerard, the player and club that is, but neither party will confirm that at this point. So the question being asked, how have they got themselves into this mess? So Lance Franklin's money can't be moved under restricted free agency rules. And at the moment, player managers and list managers are saying the Swans just can't move things around. So Buddy's due around $900,000 next year. It is the final year of the big 9-year, $10 million contract that rocked the footy world when he moved from Hawthorn. That can't be smoothed out under free agency rules. So the Swans are locked into that next year. It's not just Buddy, though, Gerard. So Callum Mills had only played one season of football, albeit a rising star winning season, when the number 3 draft pick put pen to paper on a 5-year contract. Now, that contract runs until the end of 2023, but importantly, I'm told it's back-ended. Isaac Heaney had a big money interest from North Melbourne in 2016, which saw the Swans re-sign him after 2 years to a lucrative 5-year deal as well. The Swans played in the grand final that year with big money contributors. So Heaney's deal, again, I'm told, also heavily back-ended. So they've got a few in the draft pick basket as well, high draft pick basket that we've spoken about a bit on here, that these high draft picks, there's a big jump in the pay scale, just the way the industry sort of manufactured itself, not a hard and fast rule, when they go into their 3rd and 4th seasons. But of more immediacy is the last national draft, when you have a look at the high picks. So the number 1 pick, Jamari Ugle-Hagan, re-signed. Riley Thilthorpe, re-signed. Will Phillips, re-signed. That's 1, 2 and 3 in the national draft. At 4, Logan McDonald at Sydney, hasn't re-signed. At 5, Braden Campbell at Sydney, hasn't re-signed. Now, not all of the top 10 have signed new deals, but McDonald and Campbell are also part of the Swans salary cap juggle here, even if they are contracted for next year, because we see, as I've mentioned, those high draft picks, history says they get signed after their first year more often than not.
Yeah, okay, so that's a great explanation for those who are asking the questions of the Swans. Now, some texts, Sydney related. Remember our categories? No, and that's the stuff of fantasy. Don't forget those, okay? Is Blakey going to end up at North, or is my mail wrong? That's Mark in Malvern.
No, I just cannot see it. Obviously re-signed, I think at the start of this year. He was one of the group of 3 players I think they did re-sign. I can't see him going anywhere, Nick Blakey.
Hewitt and Stevens to Collingwood and picks for Darcy Moore, Brian in Vermont.
No, Hewitt's going to Carlton. I think we can say that. We can't say it's a certainty because nothing is at this stage of proceedings until it becomes official, but everything points to Carlton at this stage.
Pies front runner for Lipinski, take it to the bank.
Might be true. Don't know. I couldn't say no to that. I can't say yes either, but I'll scribble that one down.
Pat Lipinski for Todd Goldstein. Straight swap. Bulldogs in the window. North need midfielders. Nathan.
Well, I have heard the Bulldogs are out there in the market chasing a ruckman aggressively. Now, whether or not it's Todd Goldstein remains to be seen. He did famously, Todd Goldstein, knock back that lucrative offer to go down the highway and play for the Cats. So all throughout his career, he's been staunchly a one-club man. Something would have to change there for him.
Chances of Paddy Dow being traded to Freo as part of a deal with Cerra?
Don't know. Don't know the answer to that, Gerard.
Mitch Wallace to the Giants.
Yeah, I could see that on paper, couldn't you? I think that would be that would make some sense. I think I think I think Mitch Wallace is good enough to be playing at the elite level. Just can't get a crack in there at the Western Bulldogs. Has a contract on the table, but I think we'll see him move on because he wants to play like everyone else.
The specificity of this interests me from Craig and Kilsyth. Francis and pick 11 from the Bombers for Adelaide's pick 4 and second round pick. Like, that's very specific.
Specific. Is that a dream scenario or something that person has heard? I haven't got a line of sight on that one, unfortunately.
Trade that would work for all. Hawks trade Gunston, Segler and Bruce to the Dogs. Trade Dogs first round pick this year and next year and Lipinski to the Hawks. Win-win. Dogs get what they need and a real chance at a flag. Hawks get picks and midfield depth.
Yeah. That works on. I love Segler at the Dogs. They are definitely hunting a ruckman. I wonder if they will knock on Segler's door, Jared.
Jordan Clark to the Pies for 34 with promised midfield minutes. That's K-Red and Brody.
And that's what he wants. And that's why he wanted to leave last year. He was, I guess, coaxed into staying by players and officials there as his patience run out this year because he's been played off half-back, hasn't worked for him. Can you get midfield minutes somewhere else?
Longy's text through, I'm sorry, Jared, I just wanted your attention, so I used Take It to the Bank. You could bring the whole segment down doing this sort of
set
thing.
of precedents there.
Anything else you want to add?
I just want to talk about Melbourne and I think what you can describe as an attractive pitch to Adam Cerra. So we know that Adam Cerra is plotting a path back to Victoria. Now, the Demons have made their case for him in a move. Well, it's a move that could pull the rug out from Carlton, really, who have long been the favourites to snare him. Now, the Blues, Jared, we need to stress, remain the only viable option at this stage because they tick the two big boxes, the salary and the draft capital, given they have pick 6 to use in a deal with Fremantle. But I think, and this is just me joining the dots, this is why Adam Cerra hasn't nominated a club yet, because the Demons might have swayed him. Now, Melbourne, I believe, have the financial box ticked, but at this stage, it's impossible to see how they do a deal given their first pick doesn't come until 33. But you look at it on paper, Oliver, Petracca, Viney, Brayshaw, Harms, Cerra. But we're just struggling to see how it happens unless they move a player on with currency or trade a future pick and the like. For Fremantle, Carlton are a bit like, I guess, Jared, they're a bit like the house buyer who doesn't put subject to finance on the offer. It's a short settlement, no pest or building inspection either. We got cash, we're ready to go, and we can sign the contract today. But it's Carlton or Melbourne at this stage, though. I think it's still Carlton, but Melbourne have come, which is interesting.
That's the trade bell for today. Haven't done justice to 10% of what's come through. I'll send you out the door with this, Sam. Take it to the bank. Sam Edmund to the Drive Show for Bob Murphy. Goodbye, Sam.
Jeez.